Y'all, this is an absolute crappy day. When something goes down on the farm, it literally ruins your whole entire day. We have never, ever had a herd. Well, we are way too late on this one. I don't know what happened. All I can tell you is whenever they've been rotating up here, Colby knows more about the cow stuff, and I'm sure he'll tell y'all more on his video. The situation, this was from a mom that wasn't originally ours. I do know that. And the bull that we actually bought from somebody else, the bull was young. We raised the bull up. I mean, I say young. He was probably one, a little over one. We raised him up, started him breeding. Then we took him to the other farm where we got this mama from, let him breed everything that was up there. And this would have been one of those babies. Hate it because it is a steer, which means that's future meat. And I left this morning. I had to run an errand, come back home. All of the cows were up in the front of the field laying down. I saw this one. He was not laid out like that, but we had to move him around to figure out which one he was. It was over here under the trees by itself, and I thought, oh, why is that cow by itself? Because if you ever watch herding animals, they stay together. So when I saw the cow down, I stopped. I noticed it didn't move, and I thought, oh man, like my stomach just hit the ground. I thought, this ain't good. So I took a little rock that was over there and make some noise, just kind of threw it across. When I saw that it did not move, called Colby, which was at work. I said, you need to get home. We've got a cow down, and I'm pretty sure it's already dead. I didn't have my boots on, so was not able to just walk out here to check on it like right then. That's why I threw a rock and called and was like, I'm pretty sure we have a cow down, and I think it is already dead because it's not moving. And sure enough, I'm not sure exactly how long it's been down. When Colby comes out to do feeding and waterings in the mornings, it's dark. So this one over here, he would have never been able to see. None of our other animals are loose, have runny stools. You know, there's a million kinds of diagnoses you can start going through to say what was wrong. Colby's going to talk more about it on his channel, but I will just say this. It is windy, so I hope that y'all are going to be able to hear me. I'm going to try to talk a little bit loud, but the wind is blowing a good bit. I will say this, though. It sucks all the way around because, you know, either way you go, if you lose a female or a male, your male is going to be your meat. Your females are going to be the ones to continue to have babies. I don't think either one is worse than the other, but knowing that, you know, within 6 more months, you know, a year maybe at the longest, that would have been another several hundred pounds to go in our freezer. Y'all, I can't really control the wind. It is blowing like crazy. It's just one of those things with the cows that you can't always predict, especially when my full-time job is pretty much inside. Colby's full-time job is away from the farm. There are times where you can pick up on some signs, and Colby's going to talk more to y'all about that, because he's out here with them more than I am. I don't really do a lot of I don't really do a lot of the cow and animal stuff. So he's out here with them more than I am because my full-time job really is inside. And when I pretty much come out to do farm chores and farm work, it's usually some of the stuff he can't get to, maybe like filling up the waters, or Aiden helps us do that. But the majority of my work is in the greenhouse, in the garden, herbs, harvesting, drying, and that kind of stuff. We have to work as a team together. You know, he does things, I do things, and a lot of people will say, I don't see how y'all do all that you do. We work together. He does a lot of the animal stuff. I do a lot of the planting, harvesting, growing, watering, on the plant side kind of things. But then we help each other out. And inside, I mean, you know, I try to manage everything inside. He tries to manage all the animals around his work schedule. And, you know, sometimes things like this, sadly, they're going to happen. We've only lost one that we know of, healthy cow. And that was to milk fever several years ago. It's one of those things, again, if you're not just out there with them, it happens so fast. We've never dealt with milk fever before, so it was one of those things, as fast as it comes, she was really gone before we even knew what was happening. And man, it's like a blow, man. Like, even like with our pigs, no matter what kind of food source it is, anytime you lose something with your animals, they have a job, and our job is to take care of them so that in return they can take care of us. And when something like this happens, it's one of those things you don't ever want, but at the same time, you know, from time to time it's going to happen. And this is just one of those sucky times. Okay, today is one of those days where I have time to do a little bit extra. There's not a whole lot on the schedule to do today. So when I was up here talking to y'all about the cow, I know, and I've noticed this, but I've never just had the time to come do it. Alright, let me show y'all a couple of things. So when our mamas get ready to have babies in probably the next 2 months, we will bring them right in here. Now, this used to have a top on it. Well, the tree that was behind it, or to the side, I don't remember where the tree's was at, but anyway, the top, maybe it was on this side, the top spun out of a tree and fell on this that had a top on it. So now our moms do not have any shelter. We are going to fix that before they have babies, but I wanted to just show y'all some regular maintenance that needs to be done. This fence right here needs to be zip tied back up to this, just like this one, and the reason being because when the piglets are born, they will get out. Yeah, well, it's okay. I'm gonna zip tie that little piece down, but we cannot give them a space big enough to fit out. We've had to do some makeshift things before, like add wood here. So my project for today, what I'm gonna do while I have the time, is I'm gonna fix the fence on this gate. This was the other thing I was gonna show y'all. Aiden and I last year got these really, really large stakes, and at the end of every fence we put these stakes in, because what the pigs will do is when they're nosy or rooting or whatever, they will come to the edge of our fence and put their nose right on this really hard fence. And if they bump their nose and they do it enough time, it literally takes that under fence and rolls it up. Crazy enough, we have a line of barbed wire down there. Y'all can look down here and see we have a line of barbed wire right here. And Juliet, stop. So you can see we have a line of barbed wire right here. And this is what they do. They're turning it up. So I need to try to work on that and fix that, because we are going to have one mama in each of those stalls, and then we will have an A-frame that Aiden and I are going to put together. Probably it will be us and not Colby, because Colby works during the week. I already told y'all that. and we have to use the weekends to do other things. That mama might not deliver before our spring staycation where we can stay home and do our projects. I would like if she would wait so we could do it during that week, but we have to use our weekends and his day off for normal farm maintenance, moving animals, doing apple cider vinegars, doing yard cuttings. I mean, just you name it, regular maintenance stuff, moving hay around, that kind of stuff sucks up all of our time that he's not at work. So we really want to use that March time to do some of those projects. Sure enough, this before the mamas have piglets are going to be a must. Now our 2 oldest mamas are going to have theirs first. They're going to go in those barns. We need to build an A-frame hutch to put out here for the other mama, put her some hay in it, kind of let her make that her home. She'll burrow out a spot, and that way she'll have cover, protection, a little place to go in to have her babies. And then that way the pigs will pretty much be done. But them rolling this bottom fence up is an issue for when the piglets are born, because it's just high enough. All they have to really do is get their head under it and then they slip out. How do we know? Because we've had a bunch do that before. And we've literally never had piglets do that until our last litter. But the moms that are big and strong, we had already worked up them enough of a little spot where all they had to do was slip their head under and they're gone. So we fixed it after we sold all of their last litter. But the moms have pretty much come out here and pulled them all up. So it's time to reposition them, stake them back down in the ground. And that's what I'm supposed to start working on now, along with zip tying the smaller metal net over to that gate. The other projects, like putting the top on and building the mamas the A-frame, will probably be something in the near future that me and Aiden could just work on, something kind of simple. There may be a day where Colby can come out and help us, but like I said, on those extra projects, it's just really hard for him to get to because he has to do just regular maintenance farm stuff on his day off. So it's really, really hard to add extra things to him, and these should be fairly simple. We just have to get to them. Alright, I'm going to show y'all from inside while I was talking about. You see how this looks a little pulled up? It's because they put their nose right here and push it up, which leaves a gap at the bottom. But I'm able to just take my boot and I've worked it back down for now. And I have taken those spikes and literally just run them into the ground. And I've done that pretty much all the way down this fence line, with the exception of 2 spots down there and 1 right here, because they've literally, when they work that up, it pulls my stake up. And if they can get it all the way up and out, then unfortunately I have found a couple on the ground over in here. And I know I have some extra, but I don't know where they're at. Jennings says that he thought he saw them in our gray barn, so he's rode his scooter down there to find out. I have to get my mallet and go to the other side, because see, look what I'm talking about, y'all, right here. See how they've gotten it pushed up, and the more they push it up, the more those little piglets can put their head right there and slip out. So I've just been taking my boot and putting it on the top of it and pressing it back down. But I have to have those really thick and heavy duty staples to keep it down. It will take them months to work this back up, but they will get it back up for sure, but it'll take them some time. And those mamas will already be in the barn, which means that's 2 more or less messing with this fence. And they don't ever get out. Obviously the big ones, it just causes trouble for the piglets. Well, crap, y'all. They've done it to this side too. So you can see this one on the back side is shirred up. That one is down. That one's up. That one's down, which I have some zip ties. So I'm going to be fixing all of these. This is like the maintenance stuff that is outside of the regular maintenance stuff. This is stuff that we don't have to do all the time. But obviously it's normal, you know, we're gonna have some maintenance upkeep on the farm. This is just one of those things. Now I have this whole row right here to do. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you some of the, like what I'm talking about over here, right here. how they pull it up and it pulls my spike up. They've done it pretty much all the way down. I have one that has been found, of course, on the ground and just hung right here. I need to get this pushed back down. So I'm going to work on this side, some on this row, and hopefully Jennings is going to bring me a couple more spikes so that if we're missing any that they have pulled up and lost that we haven't found or whatever that's not still in the ground, like these two are still in the ground, and I'll just be able to work those back down and push that middle back down. But for the ones that are up and gone, I really need to replace that. So I'm just going to start working on this row, and he's on his way back, so I'll see if he was able to find them. Alright, I want to tell y'all one thing that I did. It took me 30 minutes to find our extra spikes. But down on this end of our pig forest and on the other end, I'm going to show y'all what I'm talking about. So these T-posts right here that you see, each T-post, I'm going to adjust y'all a little bit. Some of these T-posts really needed to be in the ground because when I would go and put my staples down in the bottom, I wasn't being able to hammer them all the way in because the T-posts are really too high, which was leaving like an excessive gap from really where my wire was to the ground. So I got Aiden to go get a T-post driver for me. He come down here and helped me, and we hammered these down some. We bumped them down, which put the bottom of that fencing on the ground more, and it was so much easier for me to get that bottom wire down into the ground. But all of that has been done. I also, y'all seen me show y'all the mesh gate or the mesh wire that was off of the gate. So I have put that back on up here too. Both of the gates are on, that one and that one over there. Same thing in the back. What I did notice is some of the boards in the back are a little loose. Some of them have just fallen off over time. So before we move the mamas in, we'll have to do that along with building them a makeshift roof for them to have their babies and obviously have protection from the sun and the rain. So all of this is done for right now. There's really nothing else I can do down here right now. We still have probably 6 weeks before we need to, a good 6 weeks before we need to get them to kind of transition in here. So we still have some time, but I'm glad I was able to knock as much out as I did today. Okay, moving on to the day that we have come down to. So sadly we lost a couple 100 pounds of meat today, but y'all have seen us talk about our American guinea hog. We have opened up these fences. The trailer is ready. We have a little makeshift pen. We're going to try to get them over into right here and bring this behind them to make it a smaller area. I'll show y'all what I'm talking about right here. That fence is on the opposite side of Aiden, and we'll be able to take that little fence and pull it in. Because the one thing that pigs are notorious for is if you make them feel like they're trapped, they're going to turn around. And when they turn around and try to run, you better have something that's they don't usually, especially these are a little bit more laid back, won't usually try to run over anything. Now, the other breed of fencing that I was just fixing for the other breed, yes, they will literally tear the fence down. These are a little bit more laid back and gentle. My American guinea hog mama, her babies, I could get right up on her babies. I could mess with her babies, and she would grunt at me, but that was the extent of it. Those mamas, it's just a totally different breed. If you even walk near that mama's pigs, she'd just tear your leg off. Just a totally different breed of pigs. So we're hoping that this is going to be a little bit easier than we expect. There's 3 in here. 1 is a female, 2 are cut males. So it's going to be a lot of fun trying to keep her out and load up the 2 males, because once you get 1 in, then you got to load another one up in there without them getting out. So I have a feeling this is probably going to be harder than we want it to be. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, got that done. 1 female left. We are not going, I don't know if y'all can see her because it's kind of dark and she's black, one female left this weekend. When Colby's off, this is his weekend off, we are going to move her over into the field right across with the other male, which means in about 4 months we'll have babies. One of the things that we will have to do in that field is partition off a spot, make her a triangle house, kind of like I was telling y'all we were going to do over here. She really is going to have the same things. Hoping she's a good mama. We'll find out. She's never had piglets before. And the biggest part of the day is done. So I'm glad of that. It was a major letdown finding the cow today. But, you know, we take our wins with our losses. So like I told y'all earlier, some things you can see and prevent, and sometimes things just happen. That's part of the farm life, but we're going to take our wins with our losses. We got a lot of other stuff done today. We're going to look forward to the meat that we're able to get from them. Actually, the steer that's down there is going to go tomorrow, so we'll drop them off, come back and pick him up, take him the next day. And you know, this is just real life. It's real farm life, and it is what it is. You see the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. We appreciate you guys for watching our channel, everything that we do here on the farm. You know, it's like I've told y'all before, it's easy for us to sit down in front of y'all and tell you how to do X, Y, Z, but it's better when we show you. Today's one of those days where we show you the real life stuff. We show you the good things. Also, loading up the pigs. It was not as hard as we thought it was going to be. Colby had the whole thing captured over on his video, so if you want to see how that went, you can go over to Life with Colby Mack and watch that. But guys, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you so much for watching and tagging along. God bless and happy homesteading, y'all.